Good morning. My name is Raul Gallyot. The show is Wake Up West Marin. My guest this morning is Sabine Gisiger. She's come out with a documentary that's coming to the Bay Area, actually to the Marin Film Festival, called Guru Bhagwan, His Secretary, and His Brother. Good morning. Good morning, Sabine, and thank you so much for joining us today on Wake Up West Marin.
Good morning. It's not his brother, it's his bodyguard.
Oh, you're right. You're right. This is a good beginning. I told you before we went on air that you could correct me, and you've done a fabulous job already.
I do another job. My name is Gisiger.
Gisiger. Okay. Thank you. Well, I think that to bring everyone on the same page, how about if you tell us who the guru was,
yes,
and what the controversy was?
Okay. So hello to everybody. I'm a Swiss filmmaker. This film, Guru, is about Bhagwan Shree Rajneesh. Today he's more known as Osho. There are still many books around, and we tell his story. He started in the 70s in India, and he got lots of followers because his idea was that one could get samadhi, means enlightenment, through sex. And this was a very attractive offer.
Enlightenment through sex.
Yes.
I do recall that in your film there was that was mentioned, but it also seemed to me that there were some other parts where people were really responding emotionally and doing a release almost as if the screaming, and that seemed in some ways more important to me. Am I mistaken?
What I gave was the general line, that he had this ashram in Pune, and especially Westerner people came there, and at a certain point they all went to America, to Rajneeshpuram. But now let's talk about the 70s, before they came to US. And that was his guideline, that he said that the most important thing is to find out who you are. So you have to do special meditation for Western people who cannot stand still, but who have to move a lot, and to liberate then having sex with everybody, to get to enlightenment.
Do you agree with that?
It was a try. I don't agree, and it wouldn't function because there is one important thing that they were probably missing to learn, and that is empathy for others.
The idea that we are so repressed as a society, sexually repressed, that seems to me to be very difficult to understand, especially compared to some other societies.
Yeah, but you have to think that this happened in the 70s, and the sexual revolution was a theme. It was the time of the students' movement, of the anti-Vietnam movement, of the sexual revolution. We are talking about many years ago, and he was just in the right time at the right place.
Either that or else his followers were at the right time, the right place to have free sex. I don't know about that. How did you did this wonderful film, documentary on Guru Bhagwan, his secretary and his bodyguard, as you said, which is going to be shown. Do you recall what dates it's going to be shown in Santa Fe?
It's on Saturday, 2 p.m.
Oh.
And and on Sunday afternoon still. Now I don't remember when.
Yeah.
On Sunday it's on Mill Valley, on Saturday it's in San Rafael's.
And are you going to be at both screenings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking forward to, because it's our first U.S. screenings. It's our premiere in the USA.
Oh, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult was it to find spokespeople?
We did a huge research. We started from Sheila, though. She was his secretary. And when the whole thing collapsed, maybe to say it in two words, they started off, as I told you, in Pune. And then they had, Bhagwan wanted to do the ideal commune. And for that he needed a lot of space. So they moved to Oregon, to the mountains of Oregon, to build the model commune for the world, to see how the world could work. And there they had got a lot of problems. That's everything in the film. And Sheila, at the end, when everything collapsed, finished in U.S. prison.
Did you go, before I respond to some of that, did you approach many of the sannyasins?
Yes.
To try to get them to come onto the film?
No, we contacted a lot, and then we thought who we want to have in the film. And then we thought that it would be very interesting to focus on the two persons that are most close, or were most close to Bhagwan, really in the center of the power, and who have really assisted the foundation of the movement until the big collapse in the mountains of Oregon.
Now, one of the things that you do remind us of, and anyone who is in the Bay Area or Northwest United States probably heard a lot about this on the news, because the Bhagwan Rajneesh collected how many Rolls Royces?
198, I think.
Everyone needs 198 Rolls Royces, I must say.
You would love that.
And the other controversy, if I remember correctly, according to the media, was he was really they were accused of taking over the region. Mm-hmm. By bringing in homeless people, as you say in your film, mm-hmm. to sway the vote, mm-hmm. the electorate.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there were scandals all over, and there were changing scandals. In the 70s, it was the scandal of being a sex guru. And then in the 80s, in the USA, it was more the scandal that as you said, that people there felt that they would come and take over their land.
Do you believe that the media that mentioned all of this was accurate, or were we biased?
It's a complex thing, but to go to the fond of it, it was accurate that they actually lost a little bit. I mean, how to say that? If a movement is convinced to have the only truth, it gets some kind of totalitarian and also a little paranoid about everybody around. Huh? So they really started to see the neighbors as enemies, as the neighbors saw them as a threat, and then this thing was going on until both sides were fully armed.
I take it you believe that both sides are, well, they were justified.
I don't know. I think it started out from the movement.
Someone just handed me a note about the free sex that Guru Bhagwan Rajneesh proposed. And this person feels that there's a very large gap between repression and total free sex. And so we've gone from one extreme to the other, but there's no balance.
Right.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, it would be also wrong to say that there is no problem with sexual repression, right? But how to solve it?
What are your spiritual beliefs? Can you share that? Do you have?
I'm not a religious person.
What about spiritual? You don't have a guru or someone?
I don't have a guru, but I believe in spirituality.
Sure. And
a little bit more in psychotherapy.
In what therapy?
In psychotherapy.
Psychotherapy, yeah, sure. By the way, where are you calling from? Are you in California?
Yes, I'm in Palo Alto.
And you were outside of the country just recently, weren't you?
I'm living in Switzerland, and I'm here now in Palo Alto working on my next film, which will be a film on Irvin Yalom.
I'm not familiar with that name.
Irvin Yalom is a great writer, philosopher, psychotherapist. He was a psychiatry professor at Stanford. He wrote many books, probably have read some of them. And Nietzsche wept lying on the couch. A lot of books with a very high, I don't know how to say that. Many people read them.
A very large following and bestsellers, no doubt.
Yes, bestseller, yeah.
My guest this morning is Sabine Gisiger. Her documentary coming to the Mill Valley Film Festival is Guru Bhagwan, His Secretary, and His Bodyguard. Yes, it's a documentary. It'll be shown twice this weekend, I believe it is. Yes. And goodness, what a story. How did you decide to do a documentary on the Guru?
Sheila, the secretary, after her being in prison in the U.S., came to Switzerland. So she was then living in a village where a friend of mine lived. And so he started to think that it could be interesting to go to see her. And so we got deeper and deeper and started to read about the movement, making research. And for me, it was just a memory because I'm 52 years old. So at that time, I was around 20, and I had some friends actually who went to Pune. I was not interested at the time. I was interested in politics at the time. But there were still some friends who went there, and some came back feeling better, and some came back feeling worse. So it intrigued me to finally have a close look at it.
You might have been more interested in politics, but based on what I found in your documentary, there was a lot of politics.
Yes.
In this ashram. What was Sheila imprisoned for? What was she found guilty for?
She was. It was how you say that when you treat. It was no tribunal. They did a treaty.
Yeah.
The accusations were that she intended to spread bacteria in neighbor villages so that people couldn't go to vote. The accusation was that she did arranged marriages with U.S. citizens because they needed to have 150 U.S. citizens so they could build a city. And she was accused that she had tried to incent people to kill 3 commune members. But this is all not proved. But then she did the treaty that she will not go to tribunal but have 4.5 years of prison and it's over.
So she settled so that she wouldn't be found.
That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so she would not be found guilty of poisoning people or having a hit to kill some people. What are your own personal feelings? You could be right, you could be wrong, we don't know. So what are your personal leanings about her guilt?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, you had time with her, so I thought you might have a leaning one way or another. One of the interesting points in this film that was brought to my attention was one doesn't hear the interviewer. There's no voiceover. Mm-hmm. Why did you choose not to do that? And how would that have...
I thought it's more interesting to hear them than to hear me.
Would that have changed the outcome, do you think? Would it have swayed the viewer one way or another?
I think so, because we did the editing. It is a little bit like a fiction film, isn't it? Because you completely go with these persons, and this is like the fiction that really they tell you the story. And the interviews we did were day-long, for days, both of them. I interviewed for days and took out the most significant, interesting thing. And that's it's a style of storytelling that I like.
And a successful one at that. My guest this morning is Sabine Gisiger. Her documentary film, Guru Bhagwan, His Secretary and His Bodyguard. A fascinating story, and certainly it kind of reminded me of the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the Beatles guru, if you will, and a few others that have been found, well, not quite honest as far as what they present to the public. Are we supposed to almost wonder if any of them are really reliable and trustworthy?
No, I think it's if you go to ashram and you go to a guru, this can be a very beautiful, helpful thing. It's getting dangerous when you may not express doubts anymore, or when there is a commune who starts to think to be better than all the others, that they have the only truth. Because from the moment that that people think they have the only truth, it's getting dangerous. This is like that in religious movements, in political movements, in spiritual movements, because it goes to totalitarianism then.
So do you have any thoughts on how we might protect ourselves from any of these presentations that people are selling others on?
I think from the moment that you can't express doubts anymore, you better leave.
Where can we leave to, for example, you in Switzerland? From our point of view, there's Swiss politics, and I question some of those. So what do you do?
I don't think that Switzerland is a totalitarian state. It's a state where there are good politics, bad politics. Some things I really don't like, but I can speak out about.
How are you correcting some of the flaws in Swiss politics?
Maybe I didn't get the question. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. How are you addressing the problems in Swiss politics? What are you doing to correct them?
Sometimes I try to speak out.
Are you going to do a film about it?
No.
I'm not making a judgment there. That's certainly an easy way for you to do, I think. But I would also could see that it would be a rather risky approach. So,
Why you think that?
Well, because if you put yourself too far out in the public, then you become a target.
Okay, but Switzerland is not so Wild West style. It's all very calm, and it's difficult to become a target there.
You don't get people's, the term is ruffle feathers, where you upset people by speaking out so much?
No.
So then what is it that you might speak out about? I'm giving you a chance to talk about Swiss politics since that was your first interest.
What I did speak out about and will is, now I'm looking for the word. There are a lot of foreigners coming to work to Switzerland. And there is, for my feeling, too much bad talking about them. We are not treating them well. And we are too afraid and paranoid that they will destroy our culture.
Yeah, I understand that one too, and I don't think it's Switzerland alone that it is an easy target.
Yes.
To blame the immigrants.
Yes, that's what I was looking for the words. That's what I meant.
You're doing very well. Trust me.
Try.
Sometimes my English, I put my foot in my mouth, so don't worry about a thing.
Okay.
The Bodyguard, back to the film, your film, Guru Bhagwan and his secretary and his bodyguard. The bodyguard, if I remember correctly, had a nervous breakdown, yes?
Yes.
Why? What was the problem
because
there?
He was hoping so much that this commune would work. He gave he set 7 years near the Guru as his bodyguard, and he was really disappointed how things worked out then here in the U.S. But he thought that he would spend the rest of his life there, and he believed in all this, and it had become his identity. So when things went well and he tried to criticize things and change things, he got like an inner enemy, and he got thrown out and was completely lost. He had to find himself. He had to find a new identity again, and it's a hard thing.
Yeah, since I haven't been through that, I kind of feel that's difficult for me to identify with. But
maybe you had another kind of heartbreak of a relationship that you believed, this is my life, this is my love, here I belong, and then it goes wrong and you feel very, very bad. Maybe you had that. That's
a very good analogy, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have so many of those I couldn't keep track of it. Both of these people, the two people that you focused on, Sheila Patel and Hugh Milne,
yeah,
they're total opposites.
Yes.
On their outcome. They were both totally dedicated, and one is still disillusioned, and the other one, as I recall, she very much believes in the Guru
mm-hmm.
and all that he had to. Are they both reliable accounts? Since they're so different.
I mean, I think the film is reliable because the accounts are so different. because there is no truth about the story, but you can try to go near the truth of a story with two testimonies who have complete different emotions and memories about it. I think this is the interesting thing.
Is there a lesson in your film?
Yes.
What is the lesson?
I mean, a film should be more than a lesson, because then you should go to school and not in the cinema. But what I think is the lesson is, but I'm repeating myself, that it's very dangerous to think that one has the only truth, huh? And that this is the beginning of all totalitarian and sectarian things in the world.
Do you think we've learned that lesson?
No.
You think it's easy to repeat all over again?
Yes. In religion, in politics, in spirituality, in anything. It happened a lot, and it can happen again. But I think the only thing of evolution can be more and more awareness, right?
And yet, for me, it seems like awareness is very temporary. It's what's the word? Not transcendental, but it's transitional. And so that brings me to another question. Did you feel that any of these people had lasting enlightenment, or was it so fleeting?
Lasting enlightenment, what does it mean?
That their awareness, that the high, if you will, that the lessons that they brought into their hearts continue? Or was it something that was alive only while they were with the ashram and a short time afterwards?
It's difficult for me to say, because maybe some of the people get out the glimpse of enlightenment out of it, or of personal growth and development. No doubt.
Well, excuse me, I understand that it's very difficult for you to say, but you did say that you spoke to a number of sannyasins,
yes,
as they were called. And
yes, I mean, I did not feel that were enlightened people, no.
They were just everyday, normal people like all the rest of us?
No, because they have done experiences and were looking for themselves, and had very good and very hard times. So it's not just normal people, that I wouldn't say. Many of them are very kind and loveful, really.
I actually believe that they probably were, as my overgeneralization is. Anyone looking for enlightenment is probably a very kind, open heart. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how long it lasts. Because we're in a world, as you basically said, in my own words, is a very harsh, hard world.
Yes.
And so how do you balance the two?
Yeah. But I mean, at least always looking for an open, loving heart is a very good thing.
Would you say you have an open, loving heart?
I always try to have that.
How do you try to do that?
Being aware of who I am and what I can be for others.
How do you find out who you are?
You really want to know that?
Yeah, I actually do.
I did many years of psychoanalysis.
Okay. One of the things I do with my guests on this show is, Sabine Gisiger, your film, Guru Bhagwan, his secretary and his bodyguard, shows us what we can go see. But sometimes there's more that we can get when we find out the person behind the film, behind the book, behind the story. And so, yeah, that is why I wanted to know how you found yourself. Do you continue finding a new self, a new? I think
it's a lifelong job, huh? But there are different ways to do it, and once one is on this track, one will not lose the track. There are different ways. There is reading, there is thinking, there is meditating, there is dreaming, thinking about dreams. Yeah.
How much do you learn about yourself or find out about yourself while you're on the road, while you're touring?
Not so much. because it's always too busy.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
So then what tools do you use in your everyday life?
Reading.
Isn't that more intellectual?
I'm an intellectual person.
I'm not, you can tell.
No, I wouldn't say so.
My guest this morning is Sabine Gisiger. Her film, Guru Bhagwan, His Secretary and His Bodyguard, is a documentary coming to the Mill Valley Film Festival this weekend.
Yes, and I would like to see a lot of you people out there in the cinema. I would love that because it's the first time that we show the film in the USA. So we hope you come and we hope you like it and have something out of it.
Actually, I believe, I'm not certain on this, that this is one of those tickets that's very difficult to get, that it's selling very well, and I'm not surprised in this region that it would. What do you think killed the commune? What do you think killed the community? Some people say that it was the internal turmoil. Some say it was a lack of leadership, paranoia, land use restrictions, that they were being harassed by the local law enforcement. And some people say that it was because the Raj Bhagwan wanted to be on drugs and nitrous oxide all the time. What killed?
I thank you for that because there are always, when something terrible is happening, there are many reasons, and a good deal of them you already mentioned.
So you think there's truth in all of them?
Yes.
In all of those reasons?
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, I understand that this film was made with you, by you, and Beat Hanner?
Beat Hanner, yes.
Beat Hanner.
Yes.
How did Beat contribute to the film?
He's the guy who lived in the village where Sheila comes from. And then we developed the story, and then we went for shooting. He did the camera, I did the interviews, so it was a sharing.
Very nice. Well, how about if you give a website address, Sabine? And
it's www.gurufilm, gurufilm.ch. CH is Switzerland.
Oh, okay. Gurufilm.ch.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are on Facebook with the name of the film Guru Bhagwan, His Secretary and His Bodyguard. It's a Facebook page.
Very easy to remember.
And the more news by now are on the Facebook page.
Sabine, I wish you a fabulous tour here in America. Thank you so much for this film. I truly enjoyed it and found it very stimulating, and I look forward to seeing your next film.
Thank you very much.
Best to you.
Best to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.